¿Qué onda? ¿Cómo están? Bienvenidos a un nuevo video. Hoy vamos a hacer algo diferente. Ay, hoy vamos a hacer algo diferente. Vamos a reaccionar a un video. La neta ya tenía ganas de hacer como un video reacción, como de ver algo y yo dar mis opiniones. Y hoy va a ser el primer video de eso. Vamos a reaccionar a la entrevista que dieron Benny y Selena Gomez en el podcast de Jay Shetty. Vamos a platicar de la entrevista. Vi por ahí rapidillo que como que la gente está amando a Benny, de que antes la gente pensaba que era como medio raro y que ahorita como que la gente dice, wow, es el mejor hombre del mundo, quiero un Benny en mi vida, que uno tiene que pasar por un Justin para llegar a un Benny y no sé qué. Yo no sé, la neta yo no me siento tan... A ver, yo no soy fan como que ni de Benny, ni de Selena, ni de Justin, ni nada. Yo nomás vengo aquí a platicar, a echar chisme, a comentar. ¿Todo bien con todos? No, oigan, pero la neta con Benny, creo que Benny está medio turbio, ¿no? Porque yo vi un video de la Maquisienta, les voy a dejar el video para que vayan a verlo, de Rocío que hizo hablando de un poco de Benny, de la relación de Benny y Selena, pero que Benny como que hizo cosas turbias en su pasado, ¿no? No sé si ya se reivindicó, así se dice, no sé si ya tomó otros caminos en la vida, si ya es alguien más tranquilo, o sea, no sé si ya es mejor persona, porque yo lo que yo vi en ese video de Maquisienta que les cuento, se veía raro.
But I'm saying, like, it's like when you listen to something, like for me, for music, I listened to things when I was like 18 and I was like, oh my God, I didn't know any of the rules. I wasn't thinking of anything. It all comes so easily because you're not confined to like this box that you've put yourself in over the years. And then
¿Saben qué amo? También de que random, pero me encanta que aunque están hablando con un tercero, ellos dos están hablando entre ellos, ¿sabes? Porque Selena no deja de verlo a él y él, aunque esté, también le estaba hablando al entrevistador, también está como volteado para hablando con Selena, están como involucrándole de que esta es una conversación de los tres, o sea, tú y yo también estamos platicando en que él esté contestando a
at
la
the end,
persona
you're like,
enfrente,
oh,
eso me encanta.
I'm
watching both your love story, and I know you were saying, Selena, 2 seconds ago, you're like, this is such a safe and cozy space to come to. I'm hoping that today we get to know your love story on a deeper level.
Aw.
And we get to access really what's in your hearts and minds. And I want to rewind to a place where we don't retell the story, but we get to relive your story with you. And I think
Right.
there's a difference because when we tell a story, it's like, this is what happened. But when we relive it, it's almost like going back to who we were when that happened. So I want to go back to the first time you ever met. And I want to hear about it.
Well, the funny thing
También otra cosa random, es que me encanta escuchar historias de amor, oigan, también creo que por eso tengo ganas, ¿saben? Porque dicen que como que, creo que justo esta entrevista como que se ve todo el amor que tienen y está súper tierno y me encanta que la gente me platique de sus historias de amor, me encanta hablar del amor, amo el amor, me encanta. Bueno,
is
ya,
we
perdón.
actually, it was so long ago that we don't remember.
we know that her mother put us in a meeting together when, how old were you?
16.
So she was 16.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that long ago.
And well, I'm like 4 or 5 years older than you. So I was probably 20, 21. We don't remember that time. I remember when you were in a studio, like Interscope Studios, and I remember I came, she doesn't remember it, but I remember I came in and I had this talk with you. And I remember being like, whoa, wow, like Selena's really like a complex. She's so deep. And we had this conversation where I was just really left by being like, oh, she's deep. And then we went and thought nothing more of it. And then when we did our song together, I remember not feeling romantic at all. I just remember leaving and I was talking, because when you're a pop star like she is and you're a huge entity and you've done so many things in your life before, like people set up all these walls before, so it's like you get like before I came in, they were like, well, this thing's like this and this is like this and like she might not want to do that and like stuff, and they speak for people so much. And then I remember me and the director were so nervous, and then the first second you like disarmed everybody. And I remember walking back and Jake was like, he's like, the guy who directing with me, he's like, this is gonna be so easy. What they made it seem like this was gonna be this crazy thing. And the warmth, I
Yeah.
felt from her in that moment. I remember leaving being like, wow, Selena's such a cool girl. She's
And Selena,
really...
you don't remember this at all?
No, she remembers this.
I
Oh, yes.
remember the
We just
video
had fun.
part, but it was interesting because, yes, I don't have a very good memory, but I just remember the video shoot. I didn't see anything romantic nor really felt that, but I had a really good time. And that was probably the first time after years of doing music together and not together. That was the first time I really got to hang out with him.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I had a good time. And that was that. And then how it kind of continued was I was always cautious because I always wanted to make sure that I did protect myself. So to be honest, I didn't talk to him very often.
What's going on?
I thought she hated it. I really did. I thought she didn't. Like, I would see her and I would be like, does she not like me? Like, and we weren't thinking about anything. I was like, wow, she really like didn't talk to me a lot. And I was like, I thought I was being nice. And like my friends would be like, no. And then like there was another time I remember, and my friends were like, oh yeah, she was kind of weird. And I was
I'm
like,
so sorry.
and there was like a few times, and I didn't know, and I was just like, I was like, that's okay.
I thought I was being like polite by not.
Güey, yo.
She didn't
O sea,
really
que,
engage.
I'm polite, no
Basically,
te hablo para
we
respetarte.
I was working on some music, and we went through some of the demos that we had, and Single Soon came up, which is ironic because it was actually nowhere near where I was in my personal life. But Benny happened to do the song.
That she was like, oh, Benny's coming. And she was like,
And here's my reasoning. I'm going to defend myself.
Yeah,
I
you
get
should.
very nervous around the producers watching me sing.
Of course.
It's just a very intimate thing for me. I feel like I need to sound a certain way or do whatever to make them happy. And when I get to record with just me and my engineer and maybe someone I trust, I get more out of the experience. So I just was thinking, okay, well, maybe he'll stay for 10 minutes and we'll just talk for a second. And 10 minutes turned into like 30. Then he went to the other room and I finished recording and he stayed there. And then, yeah, this is too long. But
No,
So
I like
okay, so
it.
here, so from my perspective, here's what happened. I get in there.
I'm like,
And I'm like, I
oh,
gotta smooth this.
I
out.
love this back and forth.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
great.
yeah. I was like, I don't have this with anyone. Like, I was like, I want us to be chill. And obviously 99% of it was in my head. And I come in, we just start talking about life, and her A&R is there. One of my friends is there. And we're talking about life, and we start talking about dating. And I was like, yeah, I went out on this date, blah, blah, blah. And then I was talking to her and I said, oh my God, I have so many good single guy friends. I was like, we have dinners at the house all the time. You should come over sometime. And I wasn't even thinking about anything. And we're like talking about like our ideal date and like this and that. And I wanted to make sure she did the line right. So I was like, oh, I'll stay there to like make sure it's good after. And then, so I did, we left. And then
you text me.
I didn't have her cell phone number because she changed her number a bunch. So I asked someone, I said, hey, give me your cell phone number. I want to say like, thing. And I wrote, I was like, oh my God, you were, and during that, when I was with her, I was like, oh my God. I was like, not only, she's like really cool. I was like, I want her to be like in our friend group. And I couldn't even be thinking, I was like, I want her to be in our friend group, and I want to make sure this thing's smoothed out so the song goes well and everything. So I said, let me just text her, thank you or whatever. And I was like, you were so sweet or something like that. And then she writes back. I guess we were texting throughout the day, and she told me, she looked back at our message. She said, somehow you started sending like selfies where you looked really bad on purpose, like the worst ones in your.
Now looking back on it, I'm just thinking these are so weird.
Wait,
I don't know why
like
I
me
sent
in that
it.
moment yet or not yet?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay. So
That's what I was trying to figure
I
out.
had no idea. So I had no
Le
idea.
preguntó que
And
si ya la
somehow
amaba.
we decide.
So wait, why did you do that if you liked Benny? Why were you sending?
Well, because I didn't know that it was going to be like, maybe I thought it was just going to be flirting and not really anything else.
Got it.
But I really started to just, I don't know, fall for him.
So I didn't know any of this.
No.
And then we decide I forget how it happens, but we're like, yeah, let's hang out. And I was like, oh, my friend's having a birthday party tomorrow. I was like, you just come along. And I was like, just thinking friend stuff. And then so she comes to mine, and I guess she thought the party was going to be at my house, but I was like, oh, in my head, I was like, oh, she'll just come over and we can just like grab a drink first and then go there. Like, not thinking anything of it. I was like, we'll just like grab a drink at my friend's wine bar. It's on the way, and then we'll go there. You were there. And we were sitting
No comenta,
together,
al
and
parecer.
she
La
said
chica que se
something
quería
like,
sentar a comentar no
well,
ha comentado nada.
because it's a date, I wore blah, blah. And I was like, I was like, what?
No, I said if this was a date, I definitely would have dressed like nicer. And he just kind of looked at me, and I thought we were on a date.
And I was like, we're on a date. And then we went, and then we didn't really talk about
So
it.
wait, who thought it was a date?
She thought it was.
Oh.
She thought it was a date.
I'm
and
sorry, a nice man takes me out for a drink. I'm assuming it's a date.
I didn't know.
But no one had asked each other out yet.
No, it was like, let's just hang out. Like, and then we go to my friends, we go to this Thai restaurant, we go to
esperen,
Jitlada,
comentemos
and we're
eso.
like,
Si un vato con el que estás platicando y con el que tú estás flirteando, o sea, que a ti te gusta y supongo que te están contestando, ¿no? Porque por algo sigues tú ahí flirteando con él, ¿no? Te están correspondiendo la flirteada también, el coqueteo, pues. Y un vato te dice de que, un amigo va a cumplir años, te invito, vente, vamos juntos a la fiesta, ¿no? ¿Piensas que es una date o no? La neta, yo a una fiesta de un amigo no pienso que es date. Dijo que después de ahí fueron de que o sea, que primero fueron por drinks y que eso le hizo pensar que era date. Pero, güey, no, yo siento que no es date, ¿no? O sea, tenemos que estar solos para que sea date. Yo siento, ¿no? ¿Pero ustedes qué piensan? Aunque sí, no, pero bueno, tal vez sí me lleva primero por drinks de que solitos él y yo. Pero ya está estando ahí en el momento, sí diré que, ¿es esto una date? ¿Me estás queriendo invitar a salir sin que me dé cuenta, nena? ¿Qué estás haciendo?
hanging out, and there's a bunch of people there, and then she all of a sudden like leaves, and she was like, I have a video shoot really early in the morning. And I was like, okay. And I was like, but I wasn't like, because it wasn't a date to me or anything, so I was like, okay, cool. And I stayed with my friends and stuff. And then she texted me after, and I remember you being like, that was like one of the most fun times I've had in a really long time. The next time we hung out, we just hung out at home, and we just like, we're chilling, and we were playing that game.
We're not
really strangers.
Oh, yeah. That's a great game.
And my friend made that game.
Oh, wow.
And we were just playing it, and we had both played it, and I was like, okay, sure, we can play it. And we played it, and there was like a card that said like, take a selfie together. And we like took a selfie. She like screwed up. We took a selfie, and then right after the selfie, we just kissed. And then
great.
No, that's it. And then she's very private. And then basically the rest was history. And we started hanging out so much, and it just like very quickly, I was like, oh my God, my whole life, I was like, oh, this is my person. Like, I'm gonna marry this person. This is the thing. This is what it feels like. It was so different than any of those feelings. And I was like, holy shit, I met my best friend. This is my best friend. Nothing gets any better than this. It can't get better. There's no, this is like better than any friend I have that's a guy, and I get to kiss them. Like, it was like, it was insane to me. So I was like, I can't let this go. And it was so funny because before I met her, with my therapist, I had made a list saying like, these are all the things I want. I'm
Tell
tired.
me the list.
You want to know it?
Yeah, I want to know.
Okay. So before I met her, I was a guy in LA trying to find the one for me, and I was having some trouble, and I think I was like maybe not looking in all the right places, and I was like, okay, it's time to be a grown up. Like, I want to like start a life. I want to have a family. I want to find a person that like is my other half, that makes me feel better and I make them feel better. And it's a give and take. It's the perfect yin and yang. So I wrote down a list, and the first thing on my list was age appropriate. Okay. So that was,
I love that.
That's great.
And it was 30 plus. Okay. So that was number one on my list.
Yes.
Not number one, but it was the first thing I wrote.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I wrote was, I said, I know these are so simple, but it's so hard to come by. Somebody who's confident and caring. I was like, that's really 3 in 1. But that was but I was like, I need someone who's like nice and is like a genuine nice person.
You said something really important. The
Nice.
reason I'm bringing it up is because I feel a lot of women, but a lot of people feel this way. And you said when you first were meeting and recording together, there was a sense of you were protecting yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's a very human thing. And I think it's a very normal thing, and especially in this day and age, especially in your position to add to it. What was it that, at one point you said, I'm going to adopt at 35 if I don't find someone? Like, you had your whole life mapped out when you met Benny. But then, and you said you were protecting yourself, but then you started to open up. Could you walk us through what gave you confidence to open up, but what that feels like when you're
Yo
trying to
también
protect yourself?
Yo
Because
también quiero
I
saber.
think that's the push and pull that everyone's going through.
Well, I think first of all, making plans and trying to stick to them is silly because you don't know what's going to happen. And I can't believe that I get to marry my best friend. So, but yes, I think for me, I was genuinely
Me encanta
set.
él. Yo sé, el
But
mejor
it was
amigo.
once I let go of me just
Ay, qué
saying I want someone and I wish I had this and I wish I had that. Instead, I changed my mind to I'm so lucky that I get to wake up and my family's healthy and I love spending time with my friends. And you know what? If it doesn't happen, I know that I've always wanted to be a mom. And, so of course I kind of planned that out. I think it was because when Benny looks at me, I don't think he sees anything but who I am, and that's very rare to find. He knows when I'm feeling a certain way and kind of before I can even let it get to a place where it's unbearable, he has already talked to me through a spiral and protecting myself on multiple reasons, doing doing music, working with someone that's kind of, like, oh, I don't know if I should do that. But I genuinely just it just happened. I think when and oh, that's so cheesy to say, but when you do know, it feels right.
When
And I think
know.
that's what happened to me. And I just felt very comfortable with it.
We talked about this before. Like, if we would have met each other when we were younger, it would have never worked. It's like we've both grown as individuals and met at the perfect time. And I believe life is like that. And sometimes it doesn't make sense. And sometimes it's not the right reasons. And we're like, why is this happening? But I always believe that I don't know. I believe in fate. I believe in all that. And I believe, if you're good to people karmically, it's going to come back to you 10 times over. Maybe you might get in that moment and someone's going to do you really dirty, but over a long period of time, I think things are going to go your way.
Yeah. Was it scary because you talk about being best friends so much? Was it scary thinking, what are we going to lose if this gets romantic as friends?
No,
Like,
it
did you
happened
go-
right away. It happened right away.
It happened quick enough.
This was all
but-
one
yeah.
day. That was one day. Like everything really happened
Besties for
within.
one day,
And then look, there was
for the rest of the
once we knew that we liked each other, there's that part where we're both extremely busy people. So it's like it takes a second to where you fully prioritize, because it's like at first you date someone, you say, okay, well, I'll see you this time once a week. And then it's like, oh, okay, this person's getting cool. We'll go twice a week. And then it's like, wait, don't leave my house. I miss you. Like it all happens so quickly.
One thing that you both did was you had a long distance relationship for a while. Like you were in different states
Yes.
and managing that. You both have crazy work schedules. And I was thinking in your positions, it can get very easy to be like, oh, that person's never available. They canceled again. Like, well, they've got a million things. They're running away. I mean, you were just about to say you both are starting to travel together right now for work as well. But how did you manage that? Because I think a lot of our viewers are like, do long distance relationships work? And do two busy people relationships work? How would you both say you've managed both of those parts?
Biggest thing in the world is trust. I can say with all my heart that I trust this person. So for me, knowing that I have a 12 to 14 hour day on set, I won't get to talk to him every second, which I don't need, but I know just hearing from him one time, check in with me and say, I love you and I hope the day is going well. I just feel safe and I've never felt that before. And if you feel like you're in a situation that doesn't feel like you're a unit, that makes it scarier. And then that causes friction, then it causes trust issues. So for me, I would have to say communication and trust helps, but it doesn't always work. It's hard.
I feel like at the beginning there were a few almost sabotages. She didn't like. She was like,
That's fair.
at the very beginning, in like her first few trips away, she was still gaining that trust. So there were moments.
Of sincere doubt.
No, yeah, and we all
Yeah,
have.
that's normal.
We all have moments in our life because like we're only made up. I tell everyone this. It's like when you start dating someone, you're not only dating them, you're dating every single person they've ever dated, every single relationship they've ever had in their past, because you're getting every piece of baggage that person's carried and that what they've learned through their own personal life, through the life with partners, with their parents, with this, that. And I had to find a way to build that trust with her, not make it feel overbearing and make it feel real and make her actually believe it, and vice versa. Like, I know that she fully trusts. If I say, hey, I'm just going to do this today, there's nowhere in her mind that's thinking that. And if for any chance that I always told her, I said, it's okay. If you have moments of doubt in something, in a feeling, always talk to me and I'll talk you through anything that you may have. If you say,
Güey, y siento que es súper importante, la neta, tener una pareja que te diga eso de que, hey, si tienes dudas, si tienes momentos de tensión, si tienes... Güey, si la estás pasando mal, o sea, si estás dudando, ven y dime y platicamos juntos. Yo quiero ayudarte a que confíes en mí, ¿sabes? Porque la neta, o sea, como él dice que cuando estás dateando con alguien, cuando estás saliendo con alguien, pues estás saliendo también como que con todo lo que le pasó en el pasado. Y a veces, güey, pues tú traes de que traumitas por otras cosas. Y a veces hasta ni de relaciones, güey. Como que nada más de que tú eres así. Como que dudas, tienes sospechas. O eres ansioso o tienes como trust issues. Problemas de confianza, problemas de confianza. Y la neta está muy cool tener una pareja que te diga de que, hey, sé que tienes estos problemas, entonces cualquier cosita que tengas duda, ven y platicamos juntos y yo te voy a ayudar a que te des cuenta que puedes confiar en mí, que todo cool, que todo bien.
hey, I know this is a crazy thing. I just had a dream and I woke up from this dream and I was
Güey,
upset.
el sueño,
Sometimes
todas
she'll just
tenemos
say like,
sueños.
please tell me I can trust you, or please tell me you're not doing anything stupid. And I say, you can call me anytime you want. And I'm aware of her strengths and I'm aware of her weaknesses. And what I try to do.
También eso, bro. Siento que una pareja que reconozca tus fortalezas, pero que también reconozca tus debilidades, o sea, que sepa en qué cosas batalla y que las acepte y que diga, güey, me doy cuenta que batallas en esto, pero yo quiero estar contigo y quiero que trabajemos esas cosas en las que batallas. Puta, súper importante, ¿no? O sea, porque todos tenemos cositas con las que batallamos a veces, o sea, todos tenemos cositas, todos tenemos temitas que tratar. Y pues la neta está padre porque siento que una pareja es para eso, como de, para celebrar tus fortalezas, pero también para decir, hey, aquí estoy yo para echarte las manos, para echarte la mano en esas cosas que te cuestan más o que te hacen sentir
Is
mal.
surround her with a lot of things to help her. So if she's away and I have to go to a dinner, then a party, then this thing, then that thing, it's a simple text in between each thing that says, hey babe, I'm going to this next thing, I'm thinking about you. Hey, where couples, where it starts to hit is when they miss that text. They don't call the person. They wait until the next, like, it's just like,
Güey, total,
I
total,
know
total.
what she needs to succeed. So I'm going to help her succeed. I'm not going to be a dick. I'm not going to hit her up. And she doesn't need a lot. She's like the easiest person in the world. But I know, yeah, she wants to talk to me before she goes to bed. She wants me to say, I love you. She wants me to text her if I wind up having to stay somewhere 2 hours late. Just a simple, take out your phone and done. And I know that stuff really helps, especially when you're long distance, because it's natural. You're far away from someone. You say, I'm not with this person. I'm not as connected to them. We're not meant to be far. You're not supposed to be long distance with your partner. You're supposed to be right next to your partner. We do things in life that we have to do, and we both are very focused on our careers, and we're very driven, and you have to find a way to make it work that's comfortable. You have to talk to your partner. You have to understand them. I think people's biggest problems, especially men, are that we don't listen all the time. You got to listen. Just shut up and listen. Listen to what they're saying. A woman is going to tell you exactly what she needs. Like when guys are like, I don't know what she wants. I don't know. She told you already. You're just an idiot. You're not listening. Just listen. If a girl is getting frustrated with you on something, she's definitely told you multiple times and you're just not paying attention. So it's like, just listen. And don't be reactionary. Proactively do these things. I don't know if you do the same thing, but when you're away from your partner, you just try to think of little things that's going to make them feel more comfortable, better.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on the other hand, I'm like living on the moon. So it's like, she doesn't have to really do anything for me because I'm all in on everything with her. And
Siento que eso que dijo como que también es importante, el darte cuenta que tu pareja necesita cosas diferentes a ti y que aunque tú no necesites, por ejemplo, si están lejos y tú no necesitas que te escriba todo el tiempo, pero güey, sabes que tu pareja de que si le encanta o si quiere que le escribas, pues escríbele, ¿no? O sea, como que no hay, o sea, no hay bronca. También siento yo que, o sea, no sé si sabes que estás con alguien que es como más distraído o así, como que si no te escribe tanto no pasa nada, pero pues la comunicación, ¿no? O sea, como decir, güey, necesito esto, porfa, haz esto por mí, porfa, mándame un mensajito, o de que sí te lo va a mandar, pero pues a veces se me va el pex, o sea, como que a veces se me va la onda, no sé, al final todo es comunicación, ¿no? Como de hablar bien qué necesita cada uno y cómo se pueden encontrar en medio, qué puedo hacer yo, qué puedes hacer tú para vernos en medio y que todos
I
estemos bien.
fully trust her in every capacity. And my whole life, I've always been.
No, espérense, pero también, o sea, de que aunque, por ejemplo, uno diga que es que yo no tengo problemas de trust issues, yo no tengo problemas de confianza. Entonces, como que por eso a mí me cuesta entender por qué tú sí tienes problemas. O sea, creo que ese es tema, ¿sabes? Como de, pues tal vez a ti no te cuesta confiar en mí y tú no tienes esos temas en específico, pero pues tienes que entender que yo sí, amor, y que si quieres estar conmigo necesito que me eches la mano, ¿sabes? O sea, y pues ya yo te echaré la mano en tus temas, pero sí como que no hacer menos el problema del otro, ¿sabes? Aunque tú no entiendas porque a ti no te pasa lo mismo, no tienes el mismo problema, como que no hacerlo menos.
I trust everyone until they give me a reason not to.
Yes.
Okay. And I trust people to be who they are. Okay. And so far, I know who she is. So until further notice, that's how I'm going to treat her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on it. I remember there was a time we didn't want this to be like a public thing because unfortunately for Selena, her life is always under the spotlight, being scrutinized at every moment and this and that, and for good, for bad. I remember sitting with her and we'd been seeing each other, you know, secretly for months and months and months. And we were about to go to New York and we just made a conscious effort that we were like, we don't want to do this anymore. We want to be able to go out and have fun and you know, just live our lives. And at that point, I knew that it was serious enough to dive in. Like that I was like, okay, I don't care what comes with this because I love this person so much already that like we literally said I love you on that trip.
Yeah,
she had already said I love you to me a few times.
Okay, wait. So the album, I said I love you first.
Yes.
So Selena, you
Creo que yo también siempre digo I love you primero en mis relaciones. No sé. No me acuerdo si literal en todas, pero siento que también. Siento que las niñas somos, o sea, como que las niñas, las mujercitas, como que se nos sale más fácil, pero siento que muchas veces como que te contienes porque no quieres verte como muy intensa para no asustar al vato. Pero yo digo que si lo
said I
sientes
love
lo
you
digas.
first.
Yeah, she said it.
What made you want to say that? Because that's a big step, I assume.
I definitely have never been the first.
So this is the first time in your life you were the first.
Yeah, yo nunca he
Yes.
sido la
Wow.
I
primera.
wanted him to also know how committed I was. And deep down, I just felt that. And I I was tired of protecting myself. We had spent enough time together where, I felt like this was my person, and I had the courage enough to say it, but I was very nervous, and luckily he said it back.
Did you say it back the first time?
Well, there was okay.
Oh, okay. Well, there's been some slip ups.
Well, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
talk to
Well,
me
she has a plate in her hand because she had like an accident, and she was like coming up from. I think that.
Oh,
was,
he's talking about a metal plate.
Yeah, she had surgery or something. She was coming out of anesthesia, and she was like sitting there, and she was like, "I love you," and then I was like, "What?" And she was like, I love you. And I
don't remember.
I didn't say anything back yet because I was like, I can't have this be the first time. And then one time she was with her friends and they were at dinner and she was like, "Oh, we really wish you were here. We love you. I mean," and then just hung like it literally was like, and then she started wanting to really say it. And she was like, it was right when I was going to do it. It was the same night. And I was like, "Hey, let me get my stuff out."
And
he
literally said that, and then I just said, "I love you."
And I was like, please just let me out. Cause it was like, I had felt it and I was about to do it. And I was like, I want to wait till New York. So it's special, be in my house. Like it'll be a good thing. And then the day I was doing it, she couldn't take it anymore. And she said it. And then we said it. And the thing that's crazy is, before you say I love you, it's like this thing. It's like taboo. You're scared to say. And then after you're like, oh my God, I can't, like you want to say it 1,000 times in a row. You never want, I can't even understand how I went so long without saying it to her. I say it 3,000 times a day to her. And I make sure every day I say, I love you so much. Like I love you 1,000,000 times. And then I always tell her how beautiful she is and how lucky I am to have her every day.
It's so
Güey,
annoying.
eso que... Güey. Sí, pero que te digan que, ay, I'm so lucky to be with you. That's so cute. Es muy tierno, es muy lindo. Oigan, díganle a la persona con la que están de que soy muy afortunada de estar contigo. Pero no dejen de decirlo.
And I always
es muy
want
cute,
no, and
es
I
muy
always
lindo.
want to do that because I want.
También a veces no entiendo por qué es like tan such a thing, como tan tema como decir te amo. Siento que deberías de decirlo cuando lo sientes. Y ya no, como que no sé qué. ¿Quién lo dijo primero? O sea, tipo, si ya llevan ratito saliendo, ya se conocen, ya van a ser novios o ya son novios. ¿Dices primero te amo antes de ser novios o primero tienes que ser novio de alguien antes de decirle te amo? Siento que... no sé, creo que tal vez para que sea novia de alguien tengo que sentir ya el te amo. Porque si no lo amo, ¿para qué quiero que sea mi novio, no? O primero... No, sí, no. No sé, ¿ustedes qué piensan? ¿Dicen primero te amo y luego se hacen novios? ¿O al revés?
Her to know that every day I don't take anything for granted. And I still look at her and my breath gets taken away in so many different ways. And I said it to her last night. We were sitting, we were in like the pool or something together last night and we were just hanging out. And I was just like, you're so beautiful. And I don't mean that just physically. I'm saying like, you can feel it. There's like a ring, like an aura around her that exudes just like warmth.
Sí, me encanta que cuando estás enamorado, neta, ves a la persona como que es que eres perfecto. O sea, sabes que no eres perfecto, pero es como una aura de el amor que siento por ti te rodea y es so cute, so cute.
You're like making me want to cry.
How do you react in the moment when that happens, Selena? Because Benny, we're basically the same person. I do the same thing to my wife.
Yeah.
I do that to Radhi all the time.
We're so lucky.
And Radhi will just pull the funniest face in the world.
Does the same thing.
I was like, how do you react when Benny's telling you all these amazing things, Selena? What do you say?
Because I say, no, let's be honest. I also am equally grateful, and I tell him that all the time. I just, it makes me feel like it's not real. And I'll like, sometimes I'll be like, this seems too good to be true. Like he's so sweet to me, but now I've accepted it. I think I actually love it so much that it just makes me want to give him that support and that love back. So It's safe to say I feel much safer doing that now, and I like it.
I think so many people feel that when someone's that nice, and that's coming from someone who's like that myself with friends, family, and obviously with my wife too, a lot of the time that's seen as a weakness. Like people kind of look down on it when someone's that open about their feelings. Especially I get asked that a lot when I'm giving relationship or dating advice. People be like, "Oh no, but if I come on too strong, people get turned off." What this time was different for you, where it's like he's being really affectionate, he's being really open, but there's a part of you that realizes that's what you want and that's what you deserve.
Because the world has become so hard to please, if you will. I'm called fake. I'm called it's insincere, it's fake, all of this, like it just doesn't feel safe, and I don't like being myself sometimes, and that's a bigger problem than just talking about it in a relationship, because it makes you feel like you have to question the way you're acting. And I genuinely, yeah, I have really bad days, and sometimes I don't have the energy to do what I'm doing, but I try 99% of the time to be kind and to just be happy and grateful for what I have. And that just almost isn't cool anymore. And I hope that that conversation can kind of start eventually, because it's not good. I want to always be that person that I was, but it gets harder and harder. What I felt for Benny, it was everything about him was honest. It wasn't just that he was honest with me. He was honest about where he was at in life, and he'll tell me anything that he's feeling, and it made me feel like I could do the same. But he's the one person, when you're saying those nice things to me, babe, it's like so sweet. But I believe him, to where I'm not going to believe someone who is blowing smoke up my butt to just make me feel good. He's saying it because he means it. And I believe it.
I feel like it's like a macho thing. Like guys are always trying. It's like, stop trying to be cool. Like it's like guys try to be so cool, and like they don't want. I think it's cool to show your emotions. I think it's cool to tell you the person. Like I call my mom and I tell her how beautiful she is too. Like, and I think it's cool to make people feel good. I think it's cool to like. I just feel like people like are trying to push people down a lot sometimes, like to make themselves feel better. But you look so much cooler and so much better if you're making other people feel
Yeah, but it's not even that you would look
No, I
cooler.
know.
You'd feel like a better person.
That's what I'm saying though. But it's like I don't understand why people like choose not to do that. And it's like
Yeah, it's something I'm very passionate about, something that I do want to start talking about more. I want to be a good example. I'm not the perfect person. Lord knows I've made tons of mistakes and continue and will continue to.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that we talk about that.
Staying committed to the relationship, finding time to make memories and make
I
space.
think, I will say it's very hard for me. And like Benny said in the beginning, it was very difficult for me to take trips away. It just makes me feel, once I understood and got to know him, and I wasn't afraid to tell him, like, hey, I just want to make sure, like, it's not that I don't trust you. Can you just text me before you, go to your next thing? And I was able to do that with him, and he wasn't combative. He wasn't like, why? What, you don't trust me? It was just more like, yeah, I could totally do that.
Güey, ¿saben
And
eso?
with that,
Ay, ¿qué hice? Eso, o sea, que ya lo habíamos platicado, pero neta, como que alguien diga, ah, claro que puedo hacer eso por ti. O sea, si te vas a sentir tranquilo, tranquila, pues sí, no me cuesta nada. Siento que como que a veces se pelea mucho con el de, o sea, como con la idea de, es que están atrás de mí o como que tengo que hacer mucho por mi pareja, pero no sé, como que no, pues un mensajito, ¿no? O sea, de nuevo, o sea, si se te pasa, se te olvida, pues no hay bronca. Pues un mensajito, bro, de que qué onda, ya ando aquí, qué onda, llegué a mi casa, ¿tú cómo estás, amor? No sé. O sea, como que
day
luego me
by day,
causa
I
conflicto que
feel
otras personas, o sea, que es que ¿para qué quieres que te escriba? no eres mi mamá. Pues no, amor, no soy tu mamá, pero nada más quiero saber que estás bien, güey, ¿sabes? O sea, nada más quiero saber que estás vivo, que todo, o sea, que llegaste bien. Uno nunca sabe qué puede pasar.
More and more open, and we're going to be separated again while I go shoot in New York, and yeah, I'm ready for it. I think
Yeah.
it's
¿Saben qué?
doable,
Sobre
but
todo
it's
porque
not
siento que,
fun.
ok, si al principio de la relación, una de las personas de la relación como que tiene temas de seguridad y te dice que, oye, necesito como que estas cosas para que me ayudes a sentirme más segura y lo haces, conforme como que vas construyendo esa confianza, o sea, pero que siempre lo has hecho o que hay un patrón de confianza y que te pido que hagas algo y lo haces. Siento que eso después lleva a que, por ejemplo, a una de las personas ya no necesite tanto que me escribas porque pues ya sé que estás bien y que todo bien. O que si constantemente lo haces y luego una vez no me escribes, como que te hace más fuerte a después no necesitar como tanta reafirmación, ¿saben? Pero si lleva tiempo y es, o sea, un proceso, digo, claramente también siento que, por ejemplo, si eres como muy inseguro, pues tú también tienes que trabajar en eso, ¿sabes? No puedes como nada más apoyarte en tu pareja para que tu pareja te haga sentir cómodo o seguro, tú también tienes que trabajar en ello, pero pues sí, una pareja que le eche ganitas y que te ayude, pues está chido.
Exactly. It's not fun, but it sounds like you found a system that works
Creo
for you, and
que
the
atrás sí.
system.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I think
Yeah.
it's doable, but it's not fun.
Exactly. It's not fun, but it sounds like you found a system that works for you, and the system is so simple, is literally just listening to the other person. If the other person says, "Hey, I need this," it's not now like a debate around whether they don't trust you. Because I think a lot of us, if someone said that to you, Benny, like it would be easy for your reaction to be like, "Well, how can you not trust me? Like you always know where I am. Like why do I have to do this every day?" Like you could have that reaction, but that reaction doesn't make the relationship better. And I think that's where often that goes, where someone vulnerably says,
Yeah.
"Hey, all I need is this."
If someone's coming at you with a certain energy, you're already going to buck back. Like she always comes in a way where she's like, well,
Saben,
I
ok,
didn't like
esas
this.
cosas también son importantes. Dijo algo que ya se me olvidó, esperen, déjenla atraso porque
Says,
Yeah.
"Hey, all I need is this."
If someone's coming at you with a certain
Like you could have that reaction, but that reaction doesn't make the relationship better. And I think that's
ya,
where
como
often
el
that.
siempre querer dar lo mejor de ti a tu pareja, ¿sabes? O sea, como de podría reaccionar negativo, decirle de que, "Pues, ¿para qué quieres? O sea, que no confías en mí o qué." Pero, ¿sabes? Como, o sea, en vez de reaccionar así como más de, eso no, porque la neta eso como que no aporta nada a la relación, porque el tema no es que no confíen en ti, sino que uno de las personas tiene como un tema de seguridad, de confianza, y te está pidiendo que le eches la mano, y si tú reaccionas como de que no confías en mí, como que eso no aporta nada a la relación. Entonces, o sea, que siento que cuesta mucho siempre intentar approach el problema. Siempre como atacar el problema con una muy buena cara o como de forma muy positiva. O sea, como que cuesta, ¿saben? No siempre es tan fácil y depende como del espacio mental en el que estés, también como tú que traigas y demás. Pero sí, como que intentar siempre tener un approach positivo, como tranquilo, de que, ok, sí puedo hacer eso, es importante. Pero a lo que iban, creo, si quieren, lo vemos y luego ya les platico.
Goes where someone
No, 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 ya.
vulnerably says,
Les voy
Yeah.
a
"Hey, all
platicar
I
ya.
need is this."
if someone's coming at you with a certain energy, you're already going to buck back. Like she always comes in a way where she's like, well, I didn't like this because of this, this, and this. I'm like, she just said it so nice that I have to.
Importa
I'm like,
mucho cómo
nope.
se piden las cosas, y importa mucho cómo se hablan las cosas. Digo, también siento que pues, no siempre uno tiene la capacidad de pedir las cosas calmadas, pero sí siento que, por ejemplo, si tú estás como en un punto vulnerable o de inseguridad o sospechoso, o sea, que te sientes raro o que algo no te gustó, importa mucho la forma en que vas y te acercas a tu pareja de, oye, es que pasó esto y me sentí así y quiero que lo platiquemos, o sea, porque quiero entender tú de dónde vienes y quiero entender como que qué pasó y quiero que me escuches, quiero que escuches cómo me sentí. Pero, por ejemplo, si iba así de que, es que ¿por qué hiciste eso? Nunca piensas en mí, eres súper egoísta. O sea, si vas y lo atacas, pues muy probablemente la persona como que también te conteste con ataque, ¿saben? Que ahora también siento que hay que tener la capacidad mental de que si tu pareja viene y te ataca, intentar no contraatacar, ¿saben? Como que intentar contestar tranquilos, pero no siempre se pueda, pero también importa como que intenta siempre como que approach. Uy, es que detesto que solamente digo unas palabras en inglés, pero es que se los juro que se me salen. Pero siento que siempre, o sea, que es importante siempre llegar al tema o hablar del problema como tú también calmado y tranquilo, ¿saben? Como que importa mucho cómo pides las cosas. Si lo pides como con amor y tranquilidad, te lo van a dar más fácilmente que si lo pides como medio atacando. O también, bro, eso de que no digas cosas por miedo a que va a causar conflicto, además, no, o sea, si ya sabes que algo va a causar conflicto, pues de todos modos háblalo, ¿saben? En vez de no, de ocultarlo o de no querer hablar del tema. Pero tiene que haber seguridad, tienes que sentirte seguro y cómodo, o sea, como en un lugar, en un espacio de seguridad y de amor, como para después también tú poder hablar de algo que sientes que va a causar temas, ¿saben?
Because I'm like, shit, I have to approach this in a different way because she came at it with such class and effort. So, like, I'm not going to come back at her like that. I'm going to come back at her and say, well, I agree with what you're saying, or, I disagree, and here's why, and that's how we talk through everything.
Yeah.
And then another thing was, I really wanted a person that when I wake up, I think to myself, I'm like, how can I make Selena's day better? Like, what can I do in my day to make her day better? Because then that makes my day better. And I wanted to find a person like that. And I know when Selena wakes up, like the first thing she's thinking is like, how can I make his day better? And we have such a give and take. Like, I could never even see a world where I would ever yell at her. She would ever yell at me. Like, we don't argue like that. Like, I feel like we just have conversations. Like, there's never an argument. Sometimes she'll say, this is so funny.
Oh boy.
No. She'll do this and it's really cool. She'll go, I'm feeling a little irritated and I think I need like 25 minutes. Hey, will you come back? I miss you. Yeah, but it's knowing that, and we have the proper boundaries set with each other. Like, I don't have to be on top of her every second. She doesn't have to be on top of me every second we're together. I just want to know she's in the house so I can say like, hey, I love you, and then go back to what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Because look, we're both highly independent people, okay? But we're both little mushes who just need to be attached at the hip.
Yeah, we are so cheesy. It's so fun.
Yeah. We're in this place where we're inspiring each other, and we're so inspired by what the other person's doing, and she'll help me out. She'll be like, well, what if you did it like this, this, and this? And I'm like, and then she'll say something and I'll be like, well, why don't you handle the situation? Because we have such different personalities that are also the same, but the thing that one of us is really good at, the other one maybe lacks a little bit, and vice versa. And it's so cool to be able to like workshop like little conversations or how to handle a situation. And I just feel so comfortable with her, like that I can say anything and she won't ever say, I don't know.
I love the maturity. I mean, hearing you both talk about it.
Yes, but let's be clear. We are not the perfect.
No.
It's not perfect.
We're
no,
so
but you're
silly
disagreeing. No. But I think the maturity of, and I agree with you. I think that's actually the difference. And I'm glad you brought that up. I think there's a big difference between maturity and perfection.
Yeah.
Perfection is saying we never have a disagreement. We never have to take space from each other. We know, which you're not saying. You're saying, hey, I just asked for 25 minutes space. Yeah. And then I was like, wait a minute, I need you.
Yeah.
And I think there's a maturity in that because it requires maturity from both parts.
Yes.
For you to first say, hey, I need space. For you to say, I get it, I respect you. And then for you to have the maturity to say, actually, I want you back.
Yeah.
And for you to be like, not like, oh, I told you so. For you to be like, I'm here for you. Like that's not perfection. To me, that's maturity. And I think I really want people to get that from it, that you are going to have disagreements. You are going to want space. Like me to realize, wait a minute, you wanting space is you caring for the relationship.
Some people, I get it. They want to talk about it right then. The one thing that also works for us so much is like, we're not chill people, but we're like, we're never going to get, I'm not going to yell at anyone in my life. Like,
yeah, same.
and I came from a home where a lot of that was happening. And I saw, like, at a young age, and I was just like, well, like, my parents weren't speaking the same language. Obviously, they were speaking the actual same language. They weren't speaking the same language to each other to communicate. And if someone comes at you like hostile right away, the first thing I'm going to do, and I know she's going to do, is shut down. So you're not getting anything, and I always say this, the guys are so quick to, like, they got to win. They got to win the argument. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you winning? Like, you're going to argue with your wife and, like, make her cry. And then you're like, I won that argument. And then she hates you and resents you. Like, wait, like, don't be an idiot. And it's like,
I've been guilty though to start.
yeah, I don't know.
Not of you,
What do
sorry.
you mean?
I think for me, I necessarily felt like in other situations of mine, it was I was very reactive. I think that's why I was alone for 5 years, because I really needed to collect myself. I think in the past, that's why I say to him all the time, and 10 years ago, it's not that I wouldn't have wanted to be with you. I just wouldn't have been in the right headspace. And I don't think that you deserve what I had gone through before. So I've learned a lot of lessons and I've made mistakes, and I just want this to be right. So for me, that was a lesson that I had to learn, because I think girls can equally want to be right. That for me, it was really difficult in the past, and he's made it unbelievably easy, to the point where if I even get to the point where I'm so frustrated, he's like very quick to understand. I hear you, like you're allowed to feel that. And that helped me shift where my mind used to go, which was a little bit of anger.
So it
So,
was the validation of
Mm.
how you felt in those reactive moments
yes.
that allowed you to not be reactive. What was it that allowed you? Because I feel like, as Benny was saying earlier, you carry this baggage from all of our relationships
Yeah.
into this one.
I respect Benny. Because he's done nothing but respect me. I, again, trust him. I can tell him anything, even if it's about something that's uncomfortable and maybe you should just talk to your girlfriends. Like, he is that. And that helps calm me down to say, okay, so I'm going through these things because of maybe what I had before, or whatever it is. It's not, nothing is ever bad. Like, nothing in my life I regret. And I'm so, so happy for my journey. And I'll continue to be. It is a lesson that you have to be patient and learn. And I can never picture myself disrespecting him. I think,
well, it's also just a different thing, because it's like, look, none of us are perfect. Like, she gets spicy sometimes.
yeah.
And when I see something happening, it's about guiding the missile, not adding a jetpack on top of it with like machine gun artillery. Like, I want to make, if I see her getting to a place where I'm like, man, in 5 minutes from now, this room could explode. I'm never going to let it get to that 5 minutes from now. I'm going to say, what are all the tools that I know that work for her, that I've learned over? Like, I'm not going to exacerbate a situation. I'm going to try to calm it down, because why do I want to be in that position where we're both just like upset about
Siento que
something?
eso de estar con alguien que como que haga una biblioteca, ¿no? De, a ver, cuando pasan estas cosas, ¿qué sirven? ¿Sabes? Porque siento que, o sea, en lo que, sobre todo en lo que se conocen, van a pasar situaciones tensas, ¿no? Donde uno explote o los dos explotan. Pero después de eso, pues siento yo que es importante como sentarse a platicar y a ver qué pasó, por qué reaccionamos como reaccionamos. O sea, saben como que evaluar la situación, platicar para que después cuando vuelva a pasar, como que haya mejor entendimiento y que no se llegue como que a ese extremo, ¿no? Como de pasaron estas cosas porque no nos entendimos. Entonces tal vez hay que intentar comunicarnos mejor, hay que intentar escucharnos mejor y estas cosas sirven y por ejemplo cuando sé que un tema pasa y tú reaccionas de esta forma, como que estas cosas te ayudan. Entonces como que mantener una biblioteca en la cabeza de estas cosas funcionan, que a ver, o sea, también es como muy complicado, ¿saben? Porque siento que cuando tú ya tienes cosas por las que estás pasando, o sea, como que temas, tus propios problemas. Después como que cuesta trabajo acceder a esa biblioteca de, ay, cuando yo la estoy pasando mal, y estoy teniendo conflictos con mi pareja, como que estas cosas ayudan. Pero siento que está, o sea, que es necesario estar con alguien que esté tan dispuesto a tener y crear una biblioteca de herramientas que vayan a funcionar como tú quieres hacerlo. O sea, como tú también tener tu propia biblioteca de cosas que quieren, o sea, cosas que funcionan. Ahora también, por ejemplo, yo siento mi opinión, como yo estoy viendo las cosas. Siento que es importante estar en una relación siempre, o sea, que los dos estén maduros emocionalmente y que estén como al mismo nivel, pero siento que sí ayuda mucho que tal vez uno esté un poquito más arriba, como que tenga más control de sí mismo y más serenidad, para que en el momento, por ejemplo, que vea a la otra pareja casi a punto de explotar, si siento, yo pienso que si la persona está como, es más madura o está más equilibrada o más en paz con ella misma, con mayor facilidad va a poder como accesar a esas herramientas que ya saben que funcionan, ¿saben? Entonces sí pienso que uno tiene que como que estar un pasito más arriba que el otro como de estabilidad emocional. Creo que eso como de estabilidad emocional, ¿sabes? Para que ayude al otro. Porque si como que los dos están igual y ninguno tiene la capacidad como de tranquilizarse y dar ese escalón de, ok, yo ya me calmé, voy a ayudar a calmar la situación, siento que es como más complicado, ¿no? Supongo yo que se puede trabajar juntos, o sea que es algo como una evolución junta en la pareja, pero como que podría llegar a ser un poco más complicado.
Want to just calm it down and tell her what
Ay,
she
también
wants to
algo que
hear.
quería
I'm not
decir,
saying that. I'm not saying
sí
like
siento que
to
es
your
como súper importante el que cuando estás pasando como un momento complicado, o sea que una situación que se sintió tensa, un conflicto, que tu pareja valide tus emociones, como que creo que es sobre todo lo que las mujeres queremos, o sea, algunas personas quieren o necesitan como de, esto pasó y me sentí así. Y más que resolver el tema, necesito que entiendas cómo me sentí para como que yo volverme a calmar, ¿saben? Como que, Simón, bueno ya, vamos a ver los últimos minutos.
partner be like, yes, you're right. You're totally right. Like everything you no. I think you listen and you say, like, okay. Like sometimes I'll say, like, let's not let it get there. Let's like just
Mm.
talk about this. And I do think physical touch is always like a very big way. Like if you're in a conversation with your partner, like it's like sometimes just like a hand helps, or just holding their hand while you're telling them, or giving them a hug while you're telling them. And if someone's upset, let them talk it out first. And then after they talk it out, be like, okay, well, here's what I think, and you can work through these things together. There's such an easy way. It's
Very
not, yeah,
constructive.
it's not always easy. I can tell you
No,
that.
eso
And
sí.
sometimes someone wants to be frustrated. And it's
Yeah.
like, sometimes she'll tell me that. She'll just be like, I know it's going to be okay, but like, I just want to be frustrated in this moment.
Yeah.
And I'll have to redirect because I'll be like, you know what? You have every right to be in this moment. And she'll say, this is why I want to be frustrated in this moment. She said it the other day about something. I can't even remember. And I was just like, oh my God. I was like, yeah. I was like, that makes so much sense. I was like, I don't agree with the frustration. We'll get there afterwards. And I was like, but I get it. I get it. And it's so cool. And I've never quite had a relationship like with her. And we're the furthest thing from perfect in the world. We're perfect for each other. We're not perfect for everyone else. But I think the thing that's cool is that we've had all these experiences. I've had all my experiences where it wasn't right. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to change that the next time, with this person or with that person. And I think that's when you really grow, is when
Yeah.
you take all your experiences, good or bad. Like I'm like her. I take every experience in my life, my past partners, my family, my everything. It's like everything happened for a reason. And I'm not going to sit here and mope about like things that could be better or different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I learned this and now I'm going to put it into practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. For me, I always say to Radhi, I always say to my wife, do you want me to listen? Do you want me to fix this? Or do you just want me to go through it with you?
Yeah.
Mm.
Because a lot of
make
times
it clear for me, because
they don't want you to fix it right
don't,
away. And I'm
no.
not saying, I'm saying men or women. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
not about fixing. Everyone is, I'm such a problem solver and you are too. So it's like your first thing.
What was the proposal like? Like,
We have a video of it, but I want to save that for us and just keep that private. But basically, what I will share is that I thought we had a shoot that day, and I had hair and makeup, and I was doing my regular day. I get in the car, and I'm thinking to myself, where are we going? Because at this point, I feel like I know a lot of the studios that I go to. And I just started getting a little frustrated because I was like, this seems far, right? And
And
I'm
who's in
just
the car?
talking,
Just you?
just me and my security. And he's laughing because he's just like, oh, it's just, I don't know, it's a new space. I was like, okay. We get out. I walk in, and all of a sudden I see no one's in the room. And I just look at my assistant, and she just shuts the door. And I was like, and I like kind of walked on to, the area that he had set up. And, I think you envision all the things that you would do and say when someone asks you, but it is actually the craziest.
A ver, tengo una pregunta for the girlies and the boys and whoever, pero de que ustedes han imaginado cómo quieren que les pidan matrimonio, cómo quieren que les pidan matrimonio o no. Siento que sí, no a todo mundo, o sea, todos los que saben que se quieren casar, o incluso los que no están tan seguros, pero como que piensan un poco en eso, han pensado que cómo quieren que les pidan matrimonio, ¿no? Creo que yo no sé, la verdad yo no sé, creo que quisiera que mi pareja como que hiciera algo muy, muy yo, que se sienta muy yo, que me conozca tanto que sepa qué quiero, que me lea la mente, por supuesto, pero solo creo que sí quiero, o sea, que sea como muy privado, muy íntimo, no quiero a nadie. Sí me gustaría como el videíto, la foto, la verdad, sí, entonces, pues sí tendría que ver ahí alguien más, pero como que sea solo él y yo. Y, y creo que también como que me tomaría tiempo decirle a la gente. Pero supongo que si veo a mis papás y así como que sí les diría, pero, o sea, como que... Porque ya ven que hay gente, creo que sobre todo como que famosos, no sé, pero gente que se compromete y luego deja que pase tiempo y luego ya le dice a la familia, sobre todo si viven lejos o así. Pero siento que yo también como que me gusta mucho lo privado, siento yo.
Feeling. It was really special. He said the sweetest things, but I also was so shocked that it just felt unreal for a long time. And I don't know.
Oigan, y luego también, de que otra pregunta, yo siento que antes de que te pidan matrimonio, o sea, sí o sí tiene que ser una conversación que ya han tenido mucho, ¿no? O sea, aunque no te esperes, aunque obviamente creo que todas o todos o todes queremos que como que la pedida sea sorpresa, pero no tan sorpresa como que nunca hemos hablado de esto, ¿no? O sea, como que ya te las dueles más o menos. También me encanta ver esos videos de las chavas de que arreglándose Get Ready With Me para que me pidan matrimonio. Me encanta. Siento que son súper divertidos y súper tiernos. Y que luego desde que sí lleguen con anillo y todo. Se me hace muy lindo. Bueno, ya sigamos.
Dreamt of that moment, and he couldn't have made it more perfect. And yeah, it was one of the best days of my life for sure.
I wasn't nervous until 1 second before.
Tell
I was
us.
so not nervous. I was doing work until 1 second before. I was approving masters for an album that was coming out that night. And then right when it happened, right when it was about to happen, I said, oh shit, what the am I going to say? And I'm so good with words usually. God, I can't remember anything. If we didn't have a video of it, I wouldn't even remember what I said. I had known I was going to propose to her for so long. And, I never cared about marriage. It wasn't a thing in my head. She cared about it so much. So I said, well, now I care about it because she cares about it. And I found myself not even thinking it was going to be a big deal till I was there. And then I said, holy shit, I'm getting married now. And in the moments leading up to it, it's not really real until it's real.
Mm.
I remember it was so special for me because it was special for her. And then it was, she said the 2 times you said that were the best things in your life were that. And then when I got you Whataburger.
Yeah.
What's this? I want to know about this.
Whataburger is a restaurant chain that I'm not sure where they are, but
Okay.
they're not in California and they're not in New York. And I love this chain so much because there's a million in Texas where I'm from. And I love the biscuits, Texas toast, and gravy. It's so good. And we don't have that. And for Valentine's Day, he surprised me And this was it. This is all we really did. I was on the phone and he comes in with Whataburger. And I literally look at him like I'm freaking out. And he had someone, apparently they opened up in Vegas. And while we
Drove
were
down.
talking, someone drove, kept it warm, and then
No,
brought
didn't
it.
keep it warm.
Did you reheat it?
What I did was I got
It was
all the
so
parts
good.
to it and talked to the people there and figured out how I could reheat it the best way. And I was reheating it in all different ways, putting it together. And then, yeah, I brought it to her. Because to me, someone like Sel could have anything in the world. The best thing you could do, and she said it right after. She said, right when I gave it to her, she said, I can't believe you listened and remembered my order and remembered all these things in such an easy way. And then you just did it. She said, that's what makes this gift so special, is that you actually like listened to the things, and it goes such a long way.
But I did say my two favorite moments are the proposal and Whataburger.
I was just
So far, and he's done wonderful things.
That's brilliant.
I was just thinking something so crazy. Did you know we were born within 10 minutes from each other?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
On the same day?
No.
Oh.
Place.
Oh,
Because he was born in Texas.
Yeah, I was born right near her, like 10, 15 minutes away.
And you never met in Texas ever?
No, he can't claim.
I don't claim Texas.
No.
Yeah.
No, I was born in Texas, but I grew up in Virginia.
I claim Texas.
She claims Texas.
Got it.
She
Got
claims
it.
Texas.
Yeah.
What do you remember your proposal?
Of course I remember my proposal.
What'd you do?
It was very I would say I was definitely impacted by lots of social media trends for sure. In my my first chapter of my second book, which is all about love, I talk about how I would redo my proposal because
You didn't
was so, not that I didn't like it, it was perfect for the time, but it so wasn't us. Like it could have been. It could have been.
What was it?
So I'll tell it. It's embarrassing, but I'll tell it. So we were walking down one of our favorite walking paths on the bank of the Thames in London.
Yeah.
And we're walking down. I told Radhi that we were going to a dinner with my family, and it was in a nice place. So she's dressed up and everything. And we come out, and then this random guy out of nowhere walks out with a bouquet of flowers, a massive one. He hands it to her. And then I had an a cappella group sing Bruno Mars.
¡No!
And
Apenas
it
iba a
was-
decir de que se imaginan que haya hecho una de esas propuestas de que están en el centro comercial y luego todo el mundo se pone a bailar y cantar una canción de Will You Marry Me? No, ¿cómo se llama? ¿Cuál es esa canción? I Think I Wanna Marry You. No manchen.
really sweet. They were great. They were very talented. And then I
Qué
got down on
loco,
one
güey. Eso
knee
yo
and then I
jamás
asked
lo
her to
querría.
marry me. And
No.
thankfully, I was crying the whole time.
Yeah.
Thankfully, she said yes. But I tell that story to say it could have been anyone's proposal. But I look back on it and I look at how much of my life was just impacted by the world of love. And now knowing my wife as deeply as I do, I would do it completely differently. So I'm trying to convince her to renew our vows and our 10 years of marriage. And also because our friends have changed. Like, and I think it's a great reminder of just how much we evolve and mature in relationships and how it's okay to look back and go, hey, like, you know.
It's a great story.
Yeah, it's a fun story. It's a fun story. But yeah, no, I'm so happy to hear about how beautiful this proposal was. You nailed it, Benny. You just, you know.
No, we just.
You're the man. I mean, it's beautiful to hear.
Siento que esa parte que dijeron de la hamburguesa de Whataburger, de que te acordaste de mi orden, te platiqué mi orden y la recordaste y luego fuiste y me la trajiste porque yo no bailo. But siento que eso es como también algo muy importante de las relaciones para las dos personas, o sea, de que genuinamente se escuchen y se acuerden de esos detalles para luego traerlos en ocasiones especiales, ¿saben? Pero todos queremos sentir que nos escuchan, ¿no?
It was a interesting process, but I'll tell you about that offline.
Okay.
But I got to listen to it, and what I loved was I was surprised. I thought it was going to be about your relationship, but it sounded that it was about a history of your life, Selena. It felt like
Yes.
a history of love.
But the interesting part is it actually has multiple different stories.
Yeah.
Some of the songs are actually about, you know, his past relationship.
Mhm.
So I think that it was really special because we were able to talk about those kind of emotions and feelings. And not a lot of people maybe feel that comfortable doing that with a partner, but I don't know. We told each other all kinds of things like I would if I was in a session with someone I trusted. And So yeah, you'd be surprised. I mean, of course, it's not all about rainbows and sunshine, but it's real, and I think these are all feelings people have felt before, and that's what we really wanted is people to connect to the music, whether you like it or not. We're just stoked that we got to make
Oh no, it's great.
album that we're proud.
No,
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
I feel like the thing that's so cool about it is I've been fortunate enough to make a lot of songs in my day. And people come up to me all the time and they
Se
say,
sintió raro
this
escuchar
song
sus.
changed my life because I was going through the same thing. And sometimes it is what I wrote about. And sometimes they think the meaning is nothing of what I wrote about. But that's the best part about music, that it hits you. It's like music is one of the senses. It's like food. It's like there's certain things, certain smells, certain songs. They bring you back to a time immediately.
What was it like going from working together that first time to this time? Like, what was different? And
What was
changed?
different
can
is I
kiss
never
her.
allowed him in the room.
I can kiss her now.
And I like to record alone.
What's really different is I feel like we got to talk about stuff that you would never talk about as an artist if it wasn't with her partner being next to her. And honestly, I would just write everything she said. Sometimes she'd wake up from a dream and she's like, I had this terrible dream and this is what it was and blah, blah, blah. I write it down, then it becomes a song.
Wow.
It was so cool being able to, I don't know, it was like therapy.
Well, you were saying to me when we spoke on the phone, I think it was last week, you were saying that it was like a safe space to be
You could
so
say whatever
open.
You can say whatever
about-
you want. There's certain things you wouldn't be able to say if I was just, hey babe, like I just want to, she'd be like, what the talking about? But if somehow like when I'm playing chords while we're saying it, it's like, oh, okay. And
What a great story.
yeah, and you can just talk about things and you're more open. It's like a therapy session. It's like it's a safe place. And like it was cool to learn things about her that I don't know if I would have learned ever or as soon as I did.
Did it bring you closer when making the album? Like, what was it like being
Yeah.
together, but then making an album together and being together?
Absolutely. We were able to share things with each other, and he would listen to my doubts and he would give me great notes, and it was never criticizing. It was always coming from a really gentle place. And I think it absolutely has brought us closer, but that's also time and spending it with him. It's
Yeah.
really-
Also, we got to spend so much more time together.
Yeah.
Like, because
It was
like our
like-
work days got to blend a little.
Yeah.
It's a great excuse to spend time together.
Yeah,
I'm always trying to find ways to work more with my wife.
I know.
Yeah.
And then just trying to come up with new excuses.
I
to
know.
do
That's
stuff.
all I want to do.
Yeah.
Making the album with her, I felt like it taught me, I was just like, we're really good at communicating with each other and saying like, and setting boundaries and saying when we like something, when we don't like something.
Yeah. How do you do that when you're in a relationship and you're like, I actually don't like the sound of that? Like that.
We
That
just
seems.
I think it comes down to ego, and we both don't really have that. So if we disagree on something, it's like, okay, agree to disagree. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine.
With it, I was just like so excited to do this with the person I love and freeze a moment in time in a way that not a lot of people have the ability to do. And like we were lucky enough to do that. And not many people know this, but like Selena is like the ultimate level of shy, like the ultimate level of shy. Like
I don't know a lot of people. Sometimes I get shy.
couldn't be more of like an introvert, shy, which is crazy because she's the biggest star in the world. And it's like,
I'm not. I hate when you say
when she walks into a room,
To him.
her main goal is to like disappear into the crowd. That's like her goal is to just like everyone. It's my mom is very similar. Her and my mom are very similar, and they're never gonna. If there's a crowd of people, they're never gonna like be like how like me or probably you would do, where we're like, like we're talking. They're not gonna do that. They'll like wait and say like one thing throughout the night that winds up being like the most poignant or funny thing of the night. But like, I'm gonna have diarrhea of the mouth talking to everyone. And night, but like I'm gonna have diarrhea of the mouth talking to everyone. And whenever there's kids at a place, it's the only time I see her do that. She immediately goes to the kids and like has these conversations for like hours with the kids, is taking care with the kids. And I think it probably also has to do with like when you started doing this, you were a kid and that was your way to connect to people. And I feel like you still feel like you have that obligation to connect
La
with like
neta siento que
young
a
kids
veces
because
los niños son
you
más
shaped so many
interesantes que
young
los
people's lives,
adultos.
whether it was Barney,
Dicen cosas
whether it
más
was Wizards,
interesantes.
and I feel like you're still finding your way to do that. And it's so crazy just to see, because she's transcended into so many different categories. It's so hard to call her like, a pop star, this, an
Yeah, for sure.
actress, that, you don't know what to call her. It's just so much of a
Just her
multi
name, yeah.
hyphenate. Yeah.
Just your
And
name, yeah.
Oh
you
God.
notice it sometimes when we see people, because you'll see a little girl come up to her, cry. Then you'll
Mm.
see her older sister that's like 20. Then you'll see the mother, and then the grandmother. So like it's like she's hitting all these boxes in people's lives and touching so many people. And she's such a hermit that she doesn't even realize it all the time. And I'm always reminding her of like what she's doing and how special it is, and how she's always been so outspoken, and will always say what's on her mind, and is always just I just feel like there's not a lot of people who are like just absolutely authentically themselves, and like that's what draws me towards her more than anything else. She's always going to tell you how she's feeling. She's always going to be herself. She's never going to try to be somebody else.
Ese fue el video. ¿Qué opinaron de la entrevista? Sí se ven muy enamorados, ¿no? Y aparte, el Benny parece ser como que muy buen novio y siento que, les digo, mi favorita o mi cosa favorita de las parejas es cuando están como que hablando con alguien más, pero de todos modos voltean y están hablando entre ellos. Eso me gusta. También siento que estaba muy coqueto siempre ver a Benny como que agarrándole la piernita y como que estando ahí para ella. Muy tiernos. Sí se ven muy tiernos. Yo siento que sí van a durar toda la vida juntos. Hay parejas que duran, sí, creo que hay parejas que duran toda la vida juntos. Pero bueno, ese fue el video. Gracias por verlo. Si les gusta, denle like y demás. Déjenme en sus comentarios, ¿no? Como de qué opinan y así. Si quieren que reaccione a otras cosas, pues también, yo feliz. Chao.